Hey guys, this is going to be my review of the Korra Book 3 season finale, which was episodes 12 and 13, titled Enter the Void and the Venom of the Red Lotus. I know I'm really late with this. My phone just fell. It's been like 3 weeks, I think, since the episodes aired, and I'm really behind on like everything that I need to do. So everything other than school because of school stuff. So I'm just now getting to this, but yesterday it was announced that book 4 is coming out on October 3rd, and if I still didn't have this to do, I would talk about that more, but I have the review, so we're just gonna say really quickly, I was not expecting that. I'm pretty much really mad because it's the last season, and I don't like that we're getting it so quickly, because one is going to be over, there's just that, but I also think it would have been better to have a break, and I feel like Nickelodeon just screws everything up, which I've thought for a very long time, but I'm just angry that we had such long breaks, and now we're getting almost no break at all. But also the fact that now we only have 3 weeks until it airs. I really need to get this review up, so I'm filming it now. Ironically, immediately after, I was already planning to film this video in the next couple days, and then we got that information yesterday, or at least yesterday from when I'm filming this. So yeah, this is also probably going to be extremely long because I have a lot to say, but it's the finale, so I don't really care. So episode 12, I think, was the first one, yeah. The episode starts with them splitting up. Some of them are going to go to Sahir, with Korra, and then the others are going to go rescue the Airbenders, which I get kind of sad whenever they split up, because I really like when everyone's together, but also it makes sense. And I think we almost always, I haven't really paid that close attention to this with Korra. I know with Avatar we always had Aang's story and then Zuko's story, so you had 2 things going on at once. So I think this is kind of a continuation of that, having 2 different stories going on. It's just kind of, I don't know, kind of what you expect. I don't know, I'm kind of going off a topic, but I just kind of thought about this, but I'm pretty sure a lot of TV shows will have at least two different stories going on at a time. You're kind of going back and forth, so it wasn't really surprising that they split up. I really want to mention Zahir and Pali, and I always feel like I'm saying that wrong, their relationship. They have a really almost sweet scene in the finale, and it's so weird because they're the villains and really bad, so you don't want to think of them that way, and I really like that they did that. You don't see a really true romance between villains ever, really, because they're supposed to be evil and not capable of being in a romantic relationship. But I really liked that, and it wasn't when you first find out about their relationship, you don't really know how it works, but getting to actually see that they actually legitimately care for each other. And later on in the finale, he references that he can fly now, which I'll talk about later, because she was his earthly attachment and now he doesn't have that, which is exactly what Katara is called for Aang in the original series. Katara is called Aang's earthly attachment, and obviously they're in love and have a beautiful relationship, and so that kind of creates a connection between Zahir and Pali's relationship and Aang and Katara's, which is so weird because he's a villain. But I really liked that they did that, and I think it kind of reinforces too that he's not a bad person in the fact that he just wants to hurt people. He legitimately thinks he's helping the world, even if it's a really screwed up worldview, and he is capable of caring about people. So I really liked that we had that scene and that bit in the finale. Fake airbenders were so creepy. That scene really creeped me out, and the thing is, when they were walking in and you couldn't see any of the airbenders' faces except Tenzin, I immediately knew that it had to be a trick, so I wasn't surprised when they were fake, but it was still just a really creepy moment, but also really awesome at the same time. And of course all of the fight scenes in the finale were amazing. fight scenes in Korra are always amazing. I can't really think of any bad one that we've ever had, but Korra's dad, Tonrak, I think is his name, I'm so terrible at names, flies off of a cliff at one point, ends up surviving, he's like hanging on to something, and I'm pretty sure that falling down cliffs or mountains or whatever has become a thing this season. So many people have done it and survived that kind of got a bit overused. But I did really enjoy like all of the fight scenes in this finale, and we had a ton of them. Lynn tells Sue that she loves her, and that was so cute, because I remember I was so sad at the beginning when Lynn and Sue saw each other again and like were fighting, and Lynn didn't want to talk to her sister because she was mad at her. And then I loved seeing their relationship become like close over the course of the series, or this like season. And I loved just that moment in the finale where she like actually told Sue that she loved her. Like that was really sweet, and I really liked that little, like, it was like 2 seconds long, but I loved it. And keeping up with Korra's theme of managing to have really, really gruesome deaths on Nick's show, Sue again bends metal over Billy's head before she shoots, which I was really freaking out at that point because I really thought that Lynn might die, so I'm really happy she didn't. But like, she bends the metal over Billy's head, and then Billy like shoots and ends up blowing herself up, which was intense. I was not expecting that to happen, but that was just, and of course they got away with that because there were like no remains left. Like, she blew herself just to ash basically, and I can't even remember if there was ash really. There was smoke, I know, but like, that was like another, they have done a really good job this past season of killing people in terrible ways and somehow getting away with it. And Zahir pulled Voldemort, which is what I have been calling it since it happened, and suddenly develops the power to fly. And I don't know if that's becoming like a thing where you get to the end of the series and the villain can suddenly fly, but that definitely reminded me of Voldemort. Could not stop thinking about that the entire time, because you have like, you're in like the climax of everything and then just suddenly the villain can fly. But that was interesting. It makes sense though, like it really makes sense to me, and I'm surprised that apparently there's been one other airbender who could do it, and I'm surprised that more people haven't really like at least hovered low over the ground, because if you think about it, if you're able to bend in the air, it shouldn't be that hard to fly. And be like Aang's air scooter, only higher up. Like, he's able to levitate over air, so all you have to do is levitate yourself over air higher. But the thing is I would be terrified, because if you screw up, you're gonna fall. So like, I don't think it would be something that would be necessarily recommended, but I feel like more people would have tried and like succeeded at least a bit. And so that made complete sense to me. Like, I wasn't really surprised that he could fly, because logically I could see how an airbender could fly, but it was still kind of unexpected in terms of the story and just coming out of nowhere. And then while all of that is going on with Zahir and Korra and all of them, the brothers are at the Northern Air Temple. It's the Northern, right? Yeah, it's the Northern Air Temple. And they basically, I can't remember the villain's guy who lava bends. I have his name somewhere. Gazan, I think is what it is. Why do I keep saying metal bends? Lava bends lava into the Northern Air Temple, and so the entire temple is going down, and everyone, all the good guys, are stuck inside of it. And I started freaking out when he bent the lava. At first I thought he was just going to destroy the one room, so it wasn't that bad, but when I realized that the entire temple was going down, I started freaking out because I was not expecting that. Like, I think of the temples as being so significant. I mean, they're temples, and temples are like holy places. I don't know if the Airbender temples would technically be considered holy, but they're like, I don't know the right word, but they're very like, I don't know if I want to say sacred either, but they're very like honored, I guess is the only word. I know there's a word for it and I can't think of it right now, but within air nomad culture, they're just like so important, and I mean, at least in my mind, to them they are. And so having one of these temples destroyed is a huge deal to me, and it's just so sad. And I feel like the Northern Air Temple's been through a lot, because that's where Teo and them were from, and Aang got so mad because all the non-air nomads were living at the Air Temple, and he was mad about all the changes they made, and now it's destroyed completely. So that really sucks. But I was freaking out about that more than the characters being in danger, because I was almost positive that they were all going to get out. Like, there was no way that they were all going to die. So I wasn't really worried for their safety. I was more worried about the temple itself being destroyed than them getting out. So I was pretty much freaking out about the temple that entire time. I thought it was an awesome scene. Watching the temple go down, watching them run. I didn't think, I'm having a hard time, it's been so long now since I watched it, I'm having a hard time remembering exactly the speed of the lava. I think seemed off to me at times, just kind of like it would go faster and then it would slow down, and I'm not entirely sure, like its speed didn't seem consistent, but I might be remembering wrong. But I do think that that was something that stuck out to me as I was watching it. But I still really loved that. It was just really intense to me because the temple was being destroyed. But then it led to Bolin lava bending, which is one of the greatest moments in the finale. I love Bolin. I love every time he's like developed. And with all the build up with him being unable to metal bend, I was sure he was going to metal bend before the series, or the series, yeah, but specifically this season was over, and that didn't happen. He never metal bended. Maybe he still will, but since he can lava bend now, I see that as being less of a like point or story element, whatever. But that was awesome. I loved that. I loved that little moment, and I loved that he, like, you could tell he felt more confident about it, and I am really happy that he is like a special thing now, and I just love that that happened. And then Zahir's plan is to poison Korra to get her into the Avatar state and then kill her while she's in the Avatar state in order to end the cycle, so that the Red Lotus won't have to worry about the Avatar anymore, and then they'll go and kill all of the other world leaders. And I'm a bit confused as to what, and like I said, it's been like 3 weeks since it aired, and I haven't rewatched it since then. I want to, haven't had time, but I can't remember if it explained why the poison was going to put her in the Avatar state. I guess because the Avatar goes into the Avatar state when they're in danger, and being poisoned clearly puts you in danger. But I think it was mercury. It looked like mercury. When she was being poisoned, it was like a gray liquid, thick liquid, kind of thick, I guess. And later on, when Jinora says that it's metal, I definitely think that it was mercury that they were poisoning her with. That's my like best guess, because metal liquid, and it looked like mercury to me. So that, I definitely was not expecting that. I mean, we got like a full-on torture scene. So we had to watch Korra being poisoned. The flickering of the Avatar state, like her going in and out, was really, really cool. It's so weird to me only having her eyes light up. Like, I'm still not used to that. I'm used to Aang going into the Avatar state and all of his arrows lighting up, and since Korra doesn't have arrows, it's like just her eyes. And that's still weird to me because I expect like more glowing than we get. But that was definitely an intense scene. I mean, like, she's chained up, she's poisoned, she's like thrashing around, and I was definitely not expecting something that intense, and I thought that that was done amazing. And I loved the fight scene, which takes place in a like landscape that is exactly like where Aang fought Ozai in Sozin's Comet, except daytime and not as red. And I just loved that tie-in. It was really similar to Aang and Ozai's fight in a lot of ways, and I thought that that was really, really cool. And I loved that entire scene with them. And Jinora, I want to talk about that. Jinora was amazing. I'm going to go more into like her at the very end later, but she like projects her spirit to see Korra, and I really love how that has kept being such an important part. Like Jinora's spirituality and her ability to project her spirit has been like an important thing multiple times, and I really love that and how she uses that. And I really like how she went looking for where Korra was too, how she was able to be there. But I just really love Jinora. I really love Jinora a lot. Like season 1 I liked her, but season 2 and 3 she's just been amazing, and I love her so much. I also have to mention that Mako electrocutes, what's her name, Ming? He electrocutes her and kills her, which was like another gruesome death, but not like a really like surprising one. And also the lava bending guy, Gazan, I guess is his name. I cannot remember, and I'm not sure, like I wrote it down, but I don't know how to pronounce it. He like ends up killing himself basically, and keeping up with the Harry Potter references, it reminded me of Crabbe in Deathly Hallows, how Crabbe sets the Room of Requirement on fire with fiend fire in order to kill Harry, Ron, and Hermione, and ends up in the end only killing himself. Everyone else gets out, but he's killed himself. That's what that reminded me of. Like he metal bend, or no, why do I keep saying metal bend instead of lava bends? He lava bends and everyone else escapes, but he dies. And so that's what that reminded me of. And I think that's all that I have to say about like the really awesome fighting. The next bit is the very end of the episode, which is kind of like the calm, this is how everyone's getting better or whatever afterwards scene. The first thing was that Korra was in a wheelchair, which I started freaking out about. I am in love with the idea of this. Obviously it's sad that Korra's in a wheelchair, but it's just such like Korra's strength and like her athletic kind of abilities along with the bending have always been like, I think Korra's like main identification for herself. Like that's how she identifies. I think that she considers mostly her bending and her like position as the Avatar, but by extension of that, her own like personal strength, like physical strength, as like the most important thing she has, I think. And she's kind of lost that now, like now that she can't walk. She's weak, and I think that that's like goes entirely against everything that she like values about herself, because I'm pretty sure like the thing that she values most about herself is all of the physical things that she can do, bending, just strength in general and that sort of thing, and now she's lost a lot of that by being in a wheelchair. And so I think like going into this next season when she's going to be in a wheelchair, I think there's going to be like the biggest struggle that she's ever faced. Like everything else she's faced so far, obviously she had to face the spiritual stuff. She had to struggle with the fact that she couldn't get the hang of the spiritual stuff, but that's not exactly the same thing. She needed that to become a fully realized Avatar, so it was really important, but it really wasn't a personal thing in the way that losing something you value is. Like she had to struggle to gain something, and then since we had that, all of the struggles that Korra's faced have been more external and her against other people. And now going into this next season, I think we're going to have villains, or a villain at least. I don't know how much information we have about that so far. I don't remember anything. But I think like the biggest storyline next season is going to be Korra's like struggle with herself. And now that she's like lost what she pretty much values more than anything else in the world, other than being the Avatar. And I'm really excited about that. I'm really excited to see how that plays out and how that goes. And going off of that, she's with Asami in that scene, and I love Korra and Asami's relationship so much. I am so glad that they included that and that it's like talked about. and I'm really looking forward to seeing how that continues in book 4. Last thing is Janora's ceremony, which was amazing. I was pretty much crying tears of like happiness with a little bit of sadness at that point. One, Zuko was there, which was amazing. I love him so much, so obviously I'm really excited whenever he shows up. But I loved that he was there and that he was there when Aang's granddaughter was getting her arrows. I thought that was amazing. And I just love, and I really, really hope that he's in the next season, and I really hope Katara comes back. I'm not entirely sure how long it's been since we've seen Katara at this point, and maybe if Toph shows up in the next season, that would be awesome. And if all three, I saw something on Tumblr about the three of them being together, and I think that would be amazing. So like now I want that to happen, and it's not even like, I don't even know how likely that is. I loved that Zuko was there, and I loved the ceremony. Janora looked so much like Aang, and that was crazy to me, and I was just really emotional, and like it was kind of like a proud moment. Like I felt proud of Janora, and Korra's like one tear, and it was just a very, very, very amazing scene, and I just really, really love how that ended, because I thought that it was amazing. Just amazing. But I think that's all that I have to say. Hopefully this isn't too long. I think I covered pretty much everything that I wanted to say. I can't think of anything else, but we're getting book 4 in 3 weeks now. I didn't do reviews. Most of them are on my blog. I didn't do them here as much as I would have liked. I don't think. I can't remember how many I actually did. It's been a long month, so yeah. I'm like usual. I'm going to do reviews for book 4 too, obviously. But I think I covered everything. I hope I didn't forget anything. This has gone on so long that I don't know how I could have forgotten anything. But I'll see you guys later. Bye.